focusing on the of who inspires us and the company we keep. So who inspires us and the company we keep? Those are questions you should be asking yourself. Who inspires you? What do they inspire you to do? And who really truly is the company you keep? So who are you spending your time with? How are they inspiring you? Are they guiding you toward heaven or away? Are they guiding you toward goodness and health or away? Is really the way we look at it. Both, really in all walks of life. Whether you're a faithful person or not, the company that we keep, what is it inspiring us to do, and is it good or bad, healthy or not healthy? The top dog of the week, also coming to you today, proudly brought to you by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. And we'll announce our top dog of the week in just a little bit at around 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, I'll be joined by PJ. PJ as Papa Joe comes on to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. You know him from his weekly post on Thursdays. He's always with us from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. But this week, because we are live on-site on location at Cafe Kubal inside of the podcasting headquarters with Molly Malchinoff and Fran Tortora, the captains of the CNS North Stars girls lacrosse team, because we were out there for that this Thursday, Papa Joe was nice enough to move to Friday. So PJ will be with us today to speak, of course, on two topics that are near and dear to him, the Jacksonville Jaguars as well as the current MLB season, as he helps us track Major League Baseball throughout the season and track the goings-on of the Jaguars from being there in northern Florida and having his ear to the ground in what's going on with Jacksonville. So a lot of great stuff coming up here where sports meets life, and it's time to hop right into it with the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It truly is what happy tastes like, and it is the home of the Orange Dream, which is my spin on what an orange creamsicle is as a sundae and as a shake. Get that refreshing, tasty goodness exclusively at Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York today. With that being said, let's hop on into the annoying moment of the week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week for this week here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Like I said, there are three scoops of the annoying moment of the week. And the first scoop, the first annoying moment this week, is going to go to my new laptop. And pardon me for a second here, for those of you that that can see on screen here. I'm going to grab it from the studio office area. I want to grab for you the cord, because this is show and tell this morning, and I can't tell you about it without showing it to you.
Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you...
So I do want to get that to you, so give me 1 second to get my prop for today. Hold on 1 second for me. I can't do it without it, so give me one moment. All right, prop in hand. So, here we are. Here's the beautiful cord. So, I had to order a new laptop. For those of you that don't know, I spilled Coke Zero on it. Let's not talk about it and worry about it. Let's move on. So, I had the laptop maybe 5 at a time for men's and women's basketball. And so, in order to get it repaired, it was like 2/3 of the price of what I bought it for. So I had to buy a new laptop 5 months after getting my new laptop and overall, cost me some nice cheddar bread. But something inside of me said, when I was checking all the specifics, because I had them build my laptop, so I went and, found a laptop and then added all the stuff to it that I wanted. So I had it, customized. So I had them build all this stuff, and something inside of me said, check the battery and the adapter. Like, check the cord. And I'm like, nah, I don't need to check the cord. And with everything that's gone wrong with my laptop and with certain things, that's I feel like, haven't been, done properly or whatever it may be, I was like, you know what? Let me, I should probably just check everything and just, cross my T's and dot my I's. And I didn't look at the adapter. I didn't look at the cord. I was like, whatever, it's fine. It's a normal cord. Like, why would it be any different of a cord? It's in America. But something inside of me, which you should always trust your gut, said, just check. Well, I didn't. And this is what I got. You see this? Look at it. Okay? Now, there's a round knob here, but it's cut on the top. So it's not, circular all the way around. And then these ones are bent sideways. Can you see? Look at that. Okay? What is this for? Is this for, my EKG machine? Is this for my MRI? Is this an adapter for an MRI? I mean, to me, is this the rotary phone connection? Is this, the Parents France toaster? Look at this. What is this? This is what I got. So thank goodness that I keep my adapters. I literally keep all my cords to everything. I just keep them. Because in my head, being a broadcasting major, I believe that I can makeshift anything. And so if I need something to work, I believe I can put it together and figure it out. And so in this case, as you see this little beauty, look at this. What is this? Like, in what world does this make sense? But anyways, I digress. But I believe, I keep all my cords. So you could see that it's a normal connection to, this hasn't changed, to connect to the battery. So that hasn't changed. But this, universal charger for alien technology, this thing, this apparatus, because this is the same to the battery, I was like, oh, well, I have a ton of extensions that do this, that have like the regular American, outlet bowl thing there for the wire. So I thankfully, because I keep everything and I have had, 27 computers, but I keep all the cords, I was able to just take the cord and plug that one in. Thankfully it worked and it charged it up. But so I will tell you all that when you're dealing with, stuff, just check everything. Literally check everything. Because I don't know what this is for. This makes no sense to me. Okay? And the fact that they're like, do you want a D adapter or an A1 or a C3 P, just whatever. Just give me the thing that is used in America. As far as I'm concerned, outlets either have 3-prong or 2. They don't have this. Whatever this is. Okay? If you look at it right there, it almost looks like a bird smiling. But I don't know what it is. But I have it, so when technology changes and all the outlets change, or if I'm stranded in Paris, France, and I can only plug into the Eiffel Tower, I will be prepared. So that is my first annoying moment of the week. My second one is people who stay in the kitchen but don't help you. So people who are in the kitchen, watching you clean the kitchen, talking to you in the kitchen, but not offering to help you in the kitchen. I wanted to see how many times I could say in the kitchen. But, that is an annoying moment of the week that some people near and dear to me witnessed here recently, is when someone is in the kitchen, spending time with you in the kitchen, talking with you in the kitchen, but not helping you in the kitchen. And, so they kind of just do whatever they want to do, and that's it. So, they're there with you, and they're hanging out with you, but they're not helping you. They're just present. And they kind of are like ignoring the fact that you need assistance in the kitchen by not really saying much of anything. And so that's an annoying moment of the week. I know that my mom, if I was in the kitchen, she would want me to help in the kitchen. So, it's just kind of like a normal. And when people tell you that they don't want you to help, they do. Because who wants to do all the dishes by themselves? And who wants to load the dishwasher by themselves? And who wants to dry all the dishes by themselves? And who wants to clean off all the counters by themselves? And throw out all the crumbs by themselves? Nobody wants to do it alone. And people say that they do, but I don't think they really do. And I think if, you just ask a couple times, they'll be willing to oblige you to let them help you. Or let you help them. So, if you're in the kitchen, wash more than one pan, dry more than one pan, I would tell you to do, if you want to be more decent. The third and final annoying moment of the week is when you are on, and seemingly, I'm not going to blame one source of this because it's a lot of places, so I'm not going to blame one source. I'm just going to say in general it's frustrating. But when you get a hankering, right? You get a craving to watch a movie. And you say to yourself, I have Netflix, I have Hulu, I have Disney Plus, I have HBO Max, whatever. And I want to watch Wedding Crashers. And so, you speak into your device, you speak into your Roku, and you say, Alexa, play Wedding Crashers. And she brings you to Wedding Crashers, and it's on an app you don't have, or it's available for purchase only through like YouTube TV or whatever it may be. How many times has that happened to us? And I want to shout out Veron for this. Great point, and also Teresa, that how many times do we go to look for something to watch, and if you're like me, it takes forever. If you're like me, and I don't have it set up in my brain, I will go in, and I don't know how Papa Joe and Mary do this. They're wizards of Netflix. They have special superhuman abilities. They have, I don't know, a way to read the mind of Netflix. They just know things. They can find movies on Netflix like nothing. It is so easy for them. It is so effortless for them. For me, it is extremely, extremely difficult. I cannot seem to ever pick a movie on Netflix. I struggle with it. I do. I take like an hour and a half. I end up going to bed. Like, I literally will turn on Netflix, try to find a movie, and 99.99999% of the time, I don't end up finding anything, and I end up watching a TV show or just going to bed. So, if you're good at finding Netflix movies, then send us a message on Twitter at CallDT, Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, or Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. So, that would be helpful to have that information. And so, to be looking for the right movie is extremely difficult. It's very difficult. But it's such a true thing. And Teresa and Veron, they brought this up and I didn't even think about it. When you look for a movie, that's the movie you can never find. If you want to watch The Incredible Hulk, it's not available anywhere that you have, or you have to pay for it. And it's the same thing. It's like, I want to watch Wedding Crashers. I want to watch Due Date with Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr. When there's a movie on my mind and I'm like, this is the movie I want to watch, so a couple times I've been pleasantly surprised. But so many times it's not available, and it's the one you have to pay for. Last night we were trying to all watch Coach Carter, and you had to pay for it. You could buy it, or you could pay like $3.99 or whatever it may be. So, it's just, that's the situation. But how many times have we done that? How many times have you gone on, you'll do it today or this weekend, when you're like, I bought all of these apps. I bought them all. I got them all. I got Hulu, Netflix, yada, yada, yada. I think I have, I have HBO Max, Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime. Yet I will go to look up a movie, and it's not in any of these places. And it's always available to buy. You realize that? It's almost like your TV's listening to you. because you're like, you're talking to your girlfriend and you're like, man, I can't wait to watch. I don't know. I mean, I can't say any of the Disney ones because they're on Disney Plus, but it's like, and I watch so many of the Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars movies. But if I was like, I was like, man, babe, I can't wait to watch whatever. I can't wait to watch Pacific Rim, which is a really good movie to watch with like surround sound and whatnot. And I'll be like, Alexa, find Pacific Rim. And that's the one that I don't have, I can't watch, I have to pay for. And it happens so often. So the annoying moment of the week is that. It's the frustration of when you finally pick a movie, how many times is that movie not available to us on any of our things, and you got to pay for it. And why have all of these streaming services and still have to pay $3.99 or $4.99? You might as well just go to Redbox and spend, what, $1.50, get the movie and go. So it's frustrating, but it's such a true thing, and I got to credit Teresa and Veron for bringing that up, because I wouldn't have thought about that this week, yet every time I look for a movie, it seems like in recent history, most of the time, whatever movie I'm looking to watch is the one movie that is not on any device, yet somewhere in the universe I can pay for it. There's always an option to pay. You realize that? There's always an option to pay. So with that being said, those are my annoying moments of the week. Proudly brought to you by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It is what happy tastes like. We will take a step aside. When we come back a couple minutes early, we'll have Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver with Juanita Ward talking about who inspires us and the company you keep.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Welcome back here to Wake Up and Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. You're also watching on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/livenowdt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. This, of course, is LEAD, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is what the acronym stands for, and it's proudly brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero on 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, New York, featuring myself and my co-host Juanita Ward of Syracuse, as well as WNBA and overseas basketball history, current assistant coach for Jackson State down in Mississippi in her hometown. And of course, she is a motivational speaker as well as an author. Juanita, how you doing today?
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
It's going well. And Juanita, just to jump right into it, our topic for today is who inspires us. So, it's a pretty simple question here. Who inspires you?
Dan, it's not just one person that inspires me. I believe as we get older, we start to link with, people that have something that we want. And I'm reminded all the time, of like different quotes and different things that, my mother, my father, my grandmother, and my pastors have said. And, I'm a firm believer of the Bible. The Bible says, in order to be wise, hang out with wise people. If you hang out with fools, you'll act like a fool. And I always think about that. My parents have always quoted that. My grandmother's always quoted it, and they've always said, if you hang out with someone that's not thinking the right way, that's not acting the right way, that's always doing things that are not on track, you can actually be around somebody and see that they don't have a vision. Why would you hang out with someone that doesn't have a vision versus hanging out with someone that has a dream, that has a goal in mind, that wants to achieve something? And I've always taken those words for them because I'm trying to enlarge my territory, not just from a natural perspective, but from a wisdom-minded perspective. And I would have to say that my mother and my father and my grandmother, and I have two pastors right now. Well, I had one pastor pass away of Alzheimer's, but a powerful woman of God, and my pastor now is a powerful woman of God. I mean, I've had so many people in my life, and the list can go on and on of coaches and players, that have been. Some of my players right now, inspire me. I am a student of life, and I learn every single day from someone and something. And it's better to become more in wisdom than to become ignorant in nothing. And so I absolutely would have to say that it's more than just one person. It's a lot of people that have inspired me. And I'm so grateful for each and every person that's in my life.
Yeah, and when you look at that and you look at that inspiration, the people that have really made a mark on your life, and you talk about, it's who you hang out with, and it's who you put around you that really affects you. You are the company you keep, essentially, and putting yourself around positive people, putting yourself around driven people, putting yourself around people that's really have good morals and values, that helps you. And I always tell people, they're like, well, Dan, if I'm hanging out with these people, why do people think that, I'm just like them? If I surround myself with these people, like, can I be different? People are going to think you're a baker. And so, when you hang around a certain crowd, you are the company that you keep. And I think that, that is something that cannot be taken lightly, is that, the people that you spend your time with, can rub off on you. And it's important for you in that sense to surround yourself with people that are going to build you up, not tear you down, that are going to make you better, that are not like drinking acid, but that are, like drinking a cold glass of water on a hot summer day. And so I think, it's imperative to really think about the company that you keep, and to put yourself in a situation that when you are around, the people that you choose to be around, because we can't always choose, right? We're in a supermarket. You can't choose who's in the supermarket around you at that point. but you can choose very much, who's eating dinner at your table and who's spending time with you. And I think that it's extremely important to think that, we should always be looking to bear fruit, not to diminish anything and to pull ourselves down, but to build ourselves up and to build other people up. So, Juanita, I think when we look at inspiration, we also have to look at kind of what you said, and going off of it is, knowing the company that we keep, knowing the caliber of that company and what that company brings to our life, and what it essentially potentially takes away as well.
Most definitely. It's important. It has to be important, because when you want to be in your circle, like you said, no one wakes up and go, oh yeah, well, I want to hang out with this person that's not doing the right thing, with this person that's smoking, with this person that's drinking, with this person that's, that doesn't understand the reality of life, that's doing things to really, really diminish. And at a young age, they're doing stuff that's going to affect their body and hurt their body. I want to hang out with that person. I don't think anybody comes into this world and says that. I think between the courses of their, actions and the people that they have hung around, some of their characteristics, some of their personality has rubbed off on someone else that is a, just a regular person that just, likes to have fun the good way, versus a person that sees, having fun in a different perspective, and they want to link someone else together and do so. And the reality, I like this, what you said about choose. You have to choose. The reality of that is, when you choose who you are and what you want to be around, let me break it down a little bit deeper. When you start to become who you are, and you start to identify who you are, and you start to become aware of who you are, your vision enlarges, your territory enlarges. Things that you used to do, you don't do. People that you used to hang out with, you don't hang out with anymore. Places that you used to go, you don't go anymore, because now you have enlarged your territory. Your knowledge of understanding has increased. You begin to see that some things that you used to do don't entertain you anymore, because now you've matured in your mind. I love this scripture in the Bible where it says, train up a child in the way they should get old, they will not depart. The question that, we have to ask ourselves is, what are we putting inside? What are we imparting inside to someone that's going to affect them for the rest of their life? We talk about seeds all the time on this show. We talk about what you have inside of you that grows. We talk about words. Words have seeds that grow. What do you have on the inside of you that's going to help you grow? Who have you had around you? Who are you connected with that's going to help you grow? What words have they imparted into you that's going to help you grow? My grandmother, I talk about her all the time. The things that she did while she was here, the way she carried herself, her character, her persona, how she spoke, really enlarged my territory. Why? Because I have a vision of who she was and what she stood for, and the power that she enthused and the power that she walked with and talked with. It continues to remind me of the vision of being powerful and using your words to affect someone and to bring life out of someone and to help them see what's inside of them. And so what I do, because I have the words of my grandmother, my mother, and my father, I use my words to inspire others, so that they can see that there's something inside of them that's going to enlighten in them, that's going to help them to become the very best that they can become. We all make mistakes. We all have bumps in the road. We all have obstacles and obstacle courses that we have to go through in order to get to our destination, in order to ride this horse on through, that journey of the wilderness. We all have a destination that we're trying to get to. That destination is our dream, because we have a vision that we see in order to get there, right? So what are we doing? Use the people. Who have you chosen to be around you, to impart into you, to help you become the very best you that you can be? And that to me is a key factor of having chosen people around you to be essential to your life, to have nutrients in their words, in their walk, not just be there, but lead by example. and who they are and what they talk about. You can't just talk it and not walk it. You have to walk it and talk it because people are watching. Often I've heard this. My father and my mother says all the time. Whatever you do, understand this. You're a walking billboard. Somebody somewhere is watching you.
Yeah. You know, and that's a beautiful thing to say here on Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Proudly brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, New York, featuring Juanita Ward and myself, Dan Tortora, here on Wake Up Call every Friday around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, our second segment of our trio that we have on TGIF. And, you know, that's so amazing. You know, we started off this conversation about who inspires us, but essentially it's turned into what do we become? And, you know, of the inspiration we focus on, you know, we are sponges, right? It's what you focus on. It's why my parents, you know, didn't let me watch certain shows when I was a kid. And, you know, I think that's one of the things, you know, is really seeing that, you know, this life that we have is so precious and amazing. You know, and that what we put in ourselves, you know, essentially is we are a sponge to it. My parents, there's certain things that, you know, growing up as a kid, they're like, hey, you know, we don't want you to watch this TV show, or we don't want you to watch this channel. And it was to help, you know, mold me in a positive way. It was to keep me away from things that, you know, weren't necessarily healthy. And I appreciate that because I look back on the things that they didn't want me to watch, and it's stuff that now as an adult I've chosen not to watch. You know, and I think that that's, you know, something really important is, you know, what we ingest, what we put in, not just the company we keep, but, you know, what are we watching, what are we listening to? And, you know, my parents having the wherewithal to say, you know what, we don't think that this is going to be good for our son's morals and values. You know, it's not a parent preventing me from happiness. It was my parents preventing me from really negativity and, you know, certain things the things that my parents didn't let me watch as a kid, I don't watch as an adult. Like the things that they chose to say, hey, you're not watching this, I don't watch it now. And I think, you know, so now that I live in my own home, I choose not to watch the same stuff that they didn't want me to watch. And I think that, you know, that really says something about, you know, what they did and the research that they had and the things that they really wanted to be smart about with me. And I appreciate that so very much. You know, we are sponges. We ingest, you know, who's around us, we ingest what we hear, we ingest what we see, and it's not just as a child, it's as an adult too. You know, I mean, I am not a fan of watching Real Housewives of anything. And there's times where, you know, I was in rooms where it was almost forced upon because that's what the community of the room wanted to watch, and I remember getting worked up. I remember, like, getting anxiety, just feeling the stress of the show, seeing these women scream at each other and fight with each other and never make up, and there was never a solution, there was never a resolution, it was always negative. I felt like the weight of that watching that show because I'm not the type of person that can watch people be like horrible to each other, even if it's fake, and not want to like help in some way, shape, or form. I don't like seeing people in pain. I don't like seeing people in conflict. So, you know, it's like what you put in, what you take in. You know, if you're listening to negativity, if you're constantly listening to something that's, you know, about hate or whatever it may be, then, you know, that's something too. And if you're listening about love and you're listening about inspiration, then that's something. So, you know, I think that, you know, and Juanita had to go here this morning because they are running a camp, an elite camp, and so I appreciate her taking a couple minutes. So I'll take it from here. By the grace of God, and be able to carry us home here. I think that how we attack life, what we put in, you know, eventually is going to bear fruit, either rotten fruit or ripe. And I don't think that, you know, we can simply just say, you know what, well, I do everything good, but I watch this show, which is really disrespectful, or, behavior is good. I think you really have to look at what you're taking in. I'll never forget in I think it was the live action version of Snow White, that, it was stated that you cannot have any hate in your heart. Because hate is like, if you look at a clean heart, right? And it's pure. And you take one drop of dye, drop it into let's say your heart is water. And you drop that one bit of hate, that dye into it, what eventually happens? It's not one drop, right? It eventually turns your entire heart that color. So, if you say, well, I love most of the time, I love everyone, but person, that one drop of hate will eventually blacken your heart. And that's something to not take lightly. It's something to really ingest and think about. One drop of hate will turn your entire heart that color. One drop in a bucket will turn the bucket's liquid that color. So can you afford one drop of hate? It will eventually take your heart. Can you afford to do a bunch of good things but just have a really, really, really bad habit? Can you afford to be around a bunch of good people and then someone who really, really, really brings you down? Because that toxic person, and I know this from personal experience, being around a bunch of loving, caring, wonderful people and having a toxic person in my life, it leaks into everything else. It is that drop of dye that goes into everything else. It's that drop of dye that eventually turns everything that color, because what do I talk about? To the people that love me and appreciate me, what do I talk about? That person that doesn't, right? All the people that love me, think about that. That person that's that one drop of dye eventually turns everything that color. Because I talked to this friend about it, and this friend about it, and my girlfriend about it, and my best friend about it, and my dog about it. You know what I mean? It's like, sit with Lily and go, hey, Lil, this is upsetting. And that's the reality. That's the reality. Is that one, you know what? I have one toxic person in my life. Well, that one toxic person becomes a topic of every conversation with every person. And when they become a topic of conversation with other people, what have they done? They've essentially expanded their dye in your life. They're taking over. They're consuming you. They're consuming your time. They're consuming your mind. They're consuming your heart. They're consuming your feelings. They're consuming your energy. It is not good enough to have a bunch of great people and one toxic person. It is not good enough to have a ton of good habits and then have one terrible habit. It's not good enough. And I think that, and that's not me asking you to be perfect, it's asking you to really look at life. Because think about it this way. If you were painting a house and you were painting every room in the house, but in one room, every time you painted it, you scraped the paint off as soon as it dried. That's what I'm saying to you. Why build and take away? When you are painting a house, you're painting every room, right? When you're building the house and it's new, you're painting every room. Why would you take one room and not paint it? Or take one room and scrape the paint off once you've painted? Why be counterproductive? Having a bad habit, having somebody around us who inspires negativity, who breeds hate, who breeds toxicity, watching something or being a part of something that causes you to sin or brings you down, why have that one piece? Would we have a house where one room has flies all over it, dirty clothes and food on the floor, and the paint's been scraped off, and all the pictures on the wall are hanging sideways? Would we have a room like that? Most of us would say no. Anybody with any type of hygiene and care wouldn't do that. So why do that in your soul? Why do that in your brain? Why do that in your heart? Why do that in your body? it is imperative that you think about who you spend your time with, what you spend your time doing, and what you allow yourself to ingest. Because what we eat, what we eat and what we do. There's so many analogies. There's so many analogies. If you eat fruit every day, as opposed to eating fast food French fries or cheeseburgers, they'll both nourish you, right? But will they sustain you? I've never gone to a place to get bad food and felt great about myself. But when I make a fruit smoothie, it feels pretty good. There's so many things in your daily life that are important. And that one drop of dye can change everything. Having a toxic person in your life, I know from experience, like I said, one drop of dye. That person said things to me, and I spent the rest of my conversations that day talking about it. I talked to 3 or 4 people about it. Everyone I interacted with, I talked about it. So how did that drop of dye not affect my day? I could have talked about anything else. But I talked about that because I let it bother me. So, it's not to say that, I'm just not saying be perfect. And obviously those conversations were fruitful. And I went to people who loved me and they helped me. But that brings us back to the entire thing. Who inspires you? The fact that I have people that I could go to in a time of pain says something about the company that I keep. Who inspires me? My girlfriend. Shout out to you, honey. My best friend. My good friends. My family. People that I could go to in a moment of strife, crisis, pain, anxiety, depression, stress. People that bring out the best in me. Every single one of them. This isn't you. You know this isn't true. I had someone that I love so dearly look me in the eye and say, you know that not a single thing that comes out of this person's mouth is true. You know who you are. Essentially, you know who you are. You know, Daniel, that nothing that they said was true. And that person having that amount of faith in you, how can you not find it within yourself? When you struggle to be to have faith, and you see people have so much faith in you, how does that not uplift you? How does that not show you they're doing something right? You're thinking you're not good enough, and somebody else, without a doubt, believes that you are. Without a doubt. Not only that they believe, but no doubt that you are. How can we become better every day? How can we grow? How can we evolve? How can we expand and rise and be better? Isn't that the question? I wake up this morning, and I apologize, God, because I didn't say this right away. Thank you for waking me up this morning, God. Thank you for giving me my life. Why doesn't that carry weight the rest of the day? Thank you, God, for giving me my life today. Do you think God woke you up to waste today? Do you think God woke you up to worry today? I'm not saying that we're not human and we don't worry, but I'm just asking, did God wake you up to waste the day? Did God wake you up to be pessimistic? Did God wake you up to hate? Did God wake you up to allow toxicity in your life? Did God wake you up to be negative? Did God wake you up to hate, to be stressed, and to be anxious? Why would God wake you up for pain? Why would He wake you up from a sound sleep to terrorize you? Think about that. Why would God do that? God wouldn't. That's the point. We terrorize ourselves. We are negative. We stress. We are anxious. We get depressed. We surround ourselves with toxicity sometimes. We make the choice. We do. How many times when we're having a bad day do we just stay away from everybody? Why do we do that? That's the devil. That's not us. To stay alone, to feel your pain alone. When you have people that love you and respect you and appreciate you and build you up, why do we run away from those people when life gets hard? Because we're allowing evil in the world to take a hold. If you feel pain, I want you to feel it for a second, not a day, not a week, not a month, not a year. A day is so precious. 24 hours. If you were sitting in the waiting room for 24 hours, you would feel the weight of the time. But how often do we go about our day not even thinking about how precious it is, right? The clock tick, 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 and we're not paying attention. But if we were in a waiting room, if somebody inconvenienced us, the time would feel long and it would matter. But when we're going about things and nothing's holding us back, how often do we waste time? That it's 11 o'clock and now it's 2 o'clock and you spent the entire day worrying. You spent the entire day questioning. You spent the entire day talking about somebody negative in your life. Is that worth it to you? Is it worth it? Should it be? No. No. Because I get to a point with other people and I find that I learn by seeing my bad habits in others. I learn a lot when I see somebody else do it and I go, oh my gosh, I can't believe, am I doing that? I am doing that. I don't like when somebody's worried about something and they call you and they talk about it on Monday and on Tuesday and on Wednesday and on Thursday and then a month later still talking about it. I get to a point where I say, you know what? Do something about it. You need to do something about it. My priest that I sat with, I told him something that bothered me. And you know what he said to me? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to make it better? How do we help Dan be healthy? Because he heard me, but he very gently and very nicely, without saying it, was like, all right, you've described the problem. You've gone back over it maybe twice. What are we going to do to make it better? We've spent an hour talking about it. Can we spend an hour trying to solve it? Because we talk about our problems as human beings, but we don't talk about our solutions. We talk about, I can't believe this person said this and did this and this happened and that happened, but what are we doing to solve the problem? How? And sometimes we don't have the answer. I had a priest, the same priest looked at me and he said, it sounds like no matter what, this person is negative and they're going to be negative. So what are you going to do? Because you can't change them. You have tried to address it. You've tried to address it with kindness. You've addressed it with frustration. You've petitioned it. But that person has not accepted the pain that they have caused you being meaningful and stopped doing it. So what are you going to do? If you have voiced your pain and you've voiced your frustration and you've voiced your desire to make things better and they have not, what are you going to do now? Because sitting here and saying, they're not doing anything, they're not doing anything, they're not doing anything, that's not making it better. It's stressing me out more. And the people around me already know the situation. And that's not to say that you can't share it. And it's not to say that, if you surround yourself with the right people that are inspirational, that they don't listen and love you every single step of the way. That they don't tell you beautiful things and stand by your side. That they don't say, I'm here to help, whether that's by listening, praying with you, or being your movie buddy. Good people, great individuals will be there no matter what. No matter what. But just because they're there doesn't mean you shouldn't think about how you're spending your time with them and with yourself. And with yourself. Because I know that when somebody does bad things and they direct them towards somebody I love or me, it consumes my time. And I don't want it to anymore. So it's not going to. Just like I wanted to have a healthy body and a healthy mind, and I decided to walk. Walk and listen to music, walk and talk to people that I love, walk and talk to God, walk and talk to myself. I made a decision, and that decision is what got me to a healthier place. And in the same respect right now, the decisions that I make can help to get me to a healthier place, can help you to get to a healthier place. Making good quality decisions. Your pain, you know your pain. And no matter how many people you talk to about it or how many times you talk about it, you know that it exists. So what are you going to do to make it better? Who are you going to surround yourself with to make it better? What are you going to ingest in your life to make it better? You are the keeper of your present and your past and your future. The decisions you make today will become your past. The decisions you make today are in your present situation, and they will domino effect potentially your future. Every second is precious. Every moment means something. So when you wake up, and hopefully you thank God for waking you up today. Once you do that, think about if you were in the waiting room of life and you had 24 hours to just sit and look at the clock, you would really know about time and how precious it is, who you spend it with, what you do, what you say, how you are. Be cognizant of what you put in your body. For food, for drink. Be cognizant of who you spend your time with. Be cognizant of what you talk about. Be cognizant of who you choose to be. Because it is in the small steps we take each day that eventually take us down the wrong path or the right one, that lead us to heaven or away from it. We are not perfect. But if our intentions are good, and we try to do good, and we surround ourselves with good, and we do the best we can, then yes, sometimes things won't work out the way that we want them to. But how can things not work out in a good, positive way if we lead with love, we try our best, we know what's wrong, we know what's right, and we do everything we can to take in good, to exhale bad, to give to God our pain, and to accept God's love? How can we fail? How can we fail? The answer is, you can't. You cannot fail God. You cannot fail yourself. If you do the best you can, and you identify where you're not doing your best, and you change that to better yourself. None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. We all grow. We all advance. Who inspires you? What inspires you? And inspires you to do what? Those are the questions. If you look hard enough, you know who leads you in a good direction. You know who is the dye that changes the color of your heart. You know the answer to many questions you ask, but you don't take the time to pray and meditate and really just be. If you want a healthy life, live one. God did not make it impossible. And whatever you're ingesting that's negative, you made that choice. You made that choice. And you can ingest positive if you make that choice. Every single day, choose God. Choose yourself. And choose to be around those that inspire you to be healthy, to be happy, to be safe, and to be the best version of you. Stated, it's as simple as that to say. In action, you have to work at it. But what is life? What is life? If we don't work toward good? What is life if we don't try to be the best we can be and to love with everything we have? You cannot fail God and you cannot fail yourself. And you cannot fail the people and the things in your life that matter. If you do your best and you do it with a clean heart and you stop putting dye in it. And kind of a play on words. You put in the dye and it makes you die. It doesn't make you live. Dye kills. So be very, very purposeful in the steps you take. Because we all should be able to go back home someday. And I want that for you. And I want that for me. Who inspires you? Why do they inspire you? And what do they inspire you to do? Ask those questions. And I pray that you are proud of those answers. And if you need us, Juanita and I are always here. God bless. We'll take a step aside for a fast break from LEAD, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, right here with you every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Proudly brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero on 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, New York. Thanks to Jim Sikowski and the entire team at Chick-fil-A Cicero. They go well beyond serving us food, and they seek to serve the community. They seek to serve our hearts. They seek to help. And Jimmer is an amazing, amazing representation of making our moments count. So thank you, sir. We'll be back after this fast break with plenty more on Wake Up Call. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you're listening, you're watching on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/livenowdt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're watching and listening, thank you so much for hanging out with us inside of the Cafe Kubal studios on Wake Up Call. Cafe Kubal with locations for you all throughout the community: 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, where we were yesterday morning, right above the cafe and the podcasting headquarters, and 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, as well as inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital, and the mecca of a behemoth of a building to welcome you into Manlius, where all the roads merge at Cafe Kubal, that has a new expanded parking lot on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. So find your way over to Cafe Kubal today, and thank you to everyone that has already by supporting local and supporting a company that cares so much in the community. Matt Goddard had his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday again to you, Matt. I hope it was the best one yet, and that it only gets better from here. God bless you. So, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factories, what's poppin'? We did the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. The 3 scoops for you folks being my new laptop cord that would only be used in a Mexican prison. Also, people who don't help you clean up in the kitchen, and when you can't find the movie that you're looking for, but you can always somehow find a way to pay for it when you're looking it up on your streaming services. So those are the annoying moments of the week. Lead had to do with who inspires us, the company we keep, and an expanded conversation that I kind of just felt moved to tell today. And now we've gotten ourselves to the top dog of the week. Top dog of the week, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. I cannot do it without the help of Miss Lillian. That is an annoying moment of the week that it took so long to do that. But Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding bringing you the top dog of the week. My top dog of the week are the Phoenix Suns. That's right, folks. You're going to hear in the news today, Anthony Davis' body hurt. Okay, well, I understand. If his body hurt and he wasn't ready and he wasn't prepared, that happens. And I feel bad for him. And I hope that he's healthy and that he'll be well from here on out and stay well. LeBron James, you're going to hear all about that. But you're not going to hear about the Phoenix Suns. You need to hear about the Phoenix Suns. Oh, LeBron. No, Phoenix Suns. They are my top dogs of the week because they, last season, did everything that they needed to do at the end of the season when they had that little NBA bubble in Orlando, Florida at the Wide World of Sports, and they had like 9 games to play, and Phoenix was like perfect throughout that, yet they weren't able to advance to the postseason. They took that momentum from last year and doing everything they could last year and being strong in the bubble last year and prove that it wasn't a fluke, prove that it wasn't Cinderella just putting on that glass slipper for one night, and they came into this season and they rose to, they like the rising sun. They rose to the number 2 seed in the West behind only the Utah Jazz, and in 6 games they took down the Los Angeles Lakers, them Lakers, who were reigning champions of the NBA, who have LeBron James, who buy their team and assemble their team and put it together with superstars and this, that, and the other. But the Phoenix Suns did not back down. The Phoenix Suns won. And I don't want to hear about LeBron this morning. And I don't want to hear about Anthony Davis. And no. Okay? I feel bad that he's injured. I feel bad that he doesn't feel well. But that's not the story. The story is Phoenix. The story should be Phoenix. Phoenix is strong. Phoenix is good. Phoenix did it. Toronto only won a championship because not everybody on Golden State was healthy. It's not Toronto's fault. So if Kawhi was injured, would they say that? Probably not. Or less. So 113-100, the Phoenix Suns are my top dogs of the week because they deserve to be. They've earned the right to be. Crowder, 18 points in the game in 37 minutes. Bridges, 10 points in 35. We also have, just not a big deal. Booker had 47 points in 46 minutes. More points than minutes he played. Devin Booker, the first round 13th pick overall, lottery pick out of Kentucky, to the Phoenix Suns, helped them to move on now 6 years later over LeBron James and the Lakers in the first round to advance forward to the second round of the NBA playoffs on the West side. Coming off the bench, Johnson had 10 points in the game. And my guy Frank Kaminsky, who I covered when he was in college, I'm talking about Cam Jordan here of North Carolina, I covered him too. So Cam Jordan, the only player to have double digits off the bench, number 11 pick overall, first round pick in 2019. And then Frank Kaminsky, who was drafted by the Hornets back in 2015, coming from Wisconsin. I had the opportunity to speak with him, the 7-footer, and he came off the bench for a couple points in this game as well. Anthony Davis had no points in 5 minutes, hampered by injury. LeBron James had 29 points in 41 minutes. Schroeder had 20 points in 38 minutes. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who I covered, a fantastic story, a summer league story, of somebody who really had to fight to earn a place in the NBA and was put in this situation where, a couple of years in a row he was trying to showcase himself in Summer League, and he advanced all the way to not only being in the NBA but being with Detroit and being a prominent player, which got him to the Lakers before LeBron got there and has put him as their starting shooting guard. 19 points in 39 minutes, 7 for 11 from the field, 3 for 6 from three-point. He also had 3 rebounds in the game and only 1 turnover in the matchup. And, off the bench, a lot of players played for the Lakers. Matthews had 12 points. Horton Tucker also had 12. Numerous players out there and for this team. A very deep bench as opposed to the short bench of only 5 players for Phoenix coming out here in the game. Phoenix does it on the road in LA to advance forward in this NBA playoff. And I'm proud of the Phoenix Suns. They're my top dogs of the week. They deserve to be. Again, we're going to hear about boo-hoo LeBron, boo-hoo this, boo-hoo that. What, LeBron had a hangnail or he ate the wrong cereal that morning and that's why they lost. I don't want to hear that. Give credit where credit is due. Phoenix won fair and square against the players that were out there. So, shout out to you, Phoenix. Utah, the number 1 seed, has moved on, and they are still awaiting the winner of the Dallas Clippers series. Dallas is up 3-2 in that series, which is forcing a Game 6. Utah won their series 4-1 over Memphis after Memphis won the first game. And Denver and Phoenix will face off against each other, and that'll start on June 7th, which will be next Monday. Philadelphia advanced 4-1 over Washington, and Atlanta advanced 4-1 over the Knicks. Milwaukee 4-0 over Miami after Miami took them down last year as a lower seed, and Brooklyn advanced over Boston with Boston only getting one win. So really, the only the only big series in the first round has been the Clippers and the Mavericks, which is 3-2 in favor of the 5-seed Clippers over the 5-seed Mavericks over the 4-seeded Clippers. Utah handled it in 5 games. Philly handled it in 5 games. Atlanta handled it in 5 games. Milwaukee in 4 games, a sweep. Brooklyn in 5 games. Phoenix in 6, and Denver in 6. So, this first round, the higher seeds taking care of business, except for the Clippers right now that are in a place where they could end up losing, and Kawhi Leonard and company would be sent home early. So we know that Brooklyn and Milwaukee will face off, Philadelphia and Atlanta, Denver and Phoenix, and Utah will await the winner of the Clippers and the Mavericks, which it will go 6. It could go 7 if the series ties in their next game that they have coming up here on today, on June 4th. So a lot of great stuff coming up, and a shout out to our top dogs of the week for taking down the reigning national champions and for taking last year and making it not a fluke and coming in this year and taking care of business. Big shout out to the Phoenix Suns. We'll be back right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with plenty coming up with PJ, Papa Joe, joining us inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Looking very much forward to having Papa Joe join us here for TGIF in just a second.
Cafe Kubal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafekubal.com. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpazsnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market and download their app on the Google Play as well as the Apple App Store. You will have everything at your fingertips, and they make it so easy. Folks, this app truly is even easier than it was before. It was extremely user-friendly before. Now they've added more features to it. It is so great, and so literally everything's right there for you. The location of where Millhouse Market is, you can be on the maps, and you can literally, while you're ordering your food, you can plug in and find out how to get there. You can get the time of when your food's going to be done, contactless pay. You can tip right there on the app, and you have the entire menus, ingredients, like what's in everything and what you need to know. And of course, you can call if you have any questions. So the Millhouse Market, making it so easy for us to order our quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, brick oven pizzas, homemade breads and desserts, and sandwiches that are named after the families to help to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community, ingrained in our taste buds. They are open Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can get in touch with them by heading out there and going to their general store, which is inside with local products from local companies, as well as their indoor dining, and you can, of course, go through their drive-thru, grab your food, and go, making it so easy and effortless for us. and doing everything they could through this really tough time for our country and for the world. The Millhouse Market never backs down, always gives all they can, and that is why they're worth the drive every time to 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. With that being said, we're back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Welcome, welcome, and another welcome. We are here for you inside of these Cafe Kubal Studios on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com and on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/livenowdt, and youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So happy to have you here and very thankful to have you inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, and we proudly let you know that the Cafe Kubal is available to you on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, and of course also there for you inside of Calisanos Children's Hospital and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, with more to come. So with that being stated, the final piece of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin' for the day is Papa Joe. PJ is with us every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and he'll be back in his normal post next week, but we had to ad-lib a little bit this week, and we're happy to have him on here, as I know that you cannot have a true awesome week without Papa Joe. It's not the same. You can't really do it. It's like having pasta without the sauce. It's like having a meatball without the proper ingredients. It's like not having the fudge on top of the brownie. Without Papa Joe, all you are is a cake with no icing. That's your life. You got to have the PJ. You got to have them every week. And that is why we're going to round out this beautiful week with Papa Joe. He will be the mic drop on this week, and I'm very happy to have him here. Let's bring him in. PJ, how we doing?
Good morning, Daniel. Thank you for those accolades. That's very kind of you.
Well, absolutely. You deserve them. You have earned the right for me to call you the icing on the cake. That's just how it is. So what's going on in Florida, PJ?
Well, I think we're already socked in for 9 million degrees every day for weather. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a tough. Well, I can't say tough because the people in the north don't understand, but down here it's really, 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 really hot in July and August, and sometimes you just want to stay indoors or go jump in the pool and come back inside because it's really not safe outside. I mean, the heat is so oppressive that it'll get you. So you just got to hang in there. You got to do the right thing. And the meatball. Did I tell you Joe's getting married? You know that, don't you?
He made a post about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Well, they're coming up with some plans, which is always good to hear. I imagine the next couple of months, 3 months, 4 months, that we'll have a daughter-in-law, and maybe a little baby following behind. I mean, little baby meaning Lily.
Yeah.
A little 4-year-old. We're happy. I mean, what can I say? I mean, the Jaguars are just rocking and rolling up there. I mean, there's a lot of football news, but it's just nuts and bolts. It's just nothing. And it's flummery, You just got to seek. You got to look for the stuff that's interesting, because Mr. Khan apparently is getting ready to spend buco bucks at the Jacksonville Landing. I'm talking almost $500 million. This is all on the internet too. If your readers want to or listeners want to check it out, he's got a $441 million project that he's going to have there. He's going to build a new practice facility. He's going to rebuild the shipyard. He's going to have a Four Seasons hotel, and he's building a sports orthopedic clinic, complex clinic, right there, all together. So kudos to Mr. Khan, who wants to spend $500 million on us. I think it's wonderful. I tell you, we are really, really fortunate to have an owner like him. I can't say enough about the guy. He knows just what to do and what not to do, and he's obviously very successful.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the team will coattail the project and they'll both rise together as we see the structures raising in the area down there. We want to know that the Jaguars are increasing their presence in the community too by winning. That's what we're looking. We're looking to win.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Khan is doing the right thing. Doing the right thing.
And that's the thing. Rise, as like you said, as the buildings rise, may the team rise. Because building all these buildings and the team still struggling is not, is not the hope. It's about advancing and moving forward. And to go on that, the Lot J downtown development plan proposed by Shad Khan may have been shot down, but it seems like they're developing the area. So looking at things right now, a standalone football facility and something that Urban Meyer pushed for, and a 5-star hotel. Jaguars will unveil plans for developing downtown Jacksonville with that standalone facility. Now, seeing this and watching this evolve to revitalize the downtown area would be really cool. I mean, Daly's Place Amphitheater, which is right in front of TIAA Bank Field where the Jaguars play, literally right in front of the stadium is this giant amphitheater where, you can watch the games on television, on their big screen, as well as, go to different concerts and events and whatnot. I have seen this because I've been going to Jacksonville covering the team for over a decade. And so I've seen the advancement. I've seen the advancement of the stadium. I've seen the advancement I've seen literally Daly's Place being built, different things they've added onto it, different structural things they did with the stadium, the kind of like deluxe club area that they have for the stadium, which is absolutely beautiful. The VIP area that I got to be up and interview Tom Coughlin at, and Doug Marone and former GM Dave Caldwell. So to be able to do all of that and just to see what they've done with that entire area, from the amphitheater to the stadium itself to the boards, and just the overall way that things look and the way that things feel and the food and really everything. The Jacksonville Jaguars have done so much for this area, for Jacksonville, for Duval County, and now they're looking to do even more. And this is the thing that I find hilarious whenever somebody says to me, well, Dan, they're obviously leaving, right? Like anytime anything comes up, people think the Jaguars are leaving, and they ask me, well, Dan, I saw this, so the Jaguars must be leaving. Well, Dan, I saw that, so the Jaguars must be leaving. Well, why would Shad Khan put in these new boards, a few years ago? He had Carrie Underwood unveil them. He's building Daly's Place. He's doing everything in his power to build up the area, is what it looks like, and to revitalize downtown Jacksonville. So to help Jackson, because that's the thing. No matter what bridge you come over into Jacksonville, when you come over and you look at this, all you see is the stadium. When you come in, it is this beautiful, beautiful welcoming to Jacksonville. So for Shad Khan to be there and to do what he has done, to build what he has built and to continue to build and revitalize the area, I think that you would have to be insane and, basically just follow the talking heads. If you follow people blindly without doing any of your own research, then yeah, you probably thought Jacksonville was leaving like 20 years ago. But they're still here. And Shad Khan is still building, which hopefully will mean, Papa Joe, that this team is going to continue to connect with this community, build with this community, and like you said, as they put up the buildings and erect these beautiful pieces to the community, that they start bringing about some wins as well to go along with it.
Love to see it. I can't wait to see it. I still haven't got up there. I know my mobility is an issue, but I'm starting to drive again. Daniel, that's good in itself. My medical marijuana is allowing me a little bit of leisure there to get behind the wheel, but sometimes I'm not too good behind it. But anyway, traveling to Jacksonville will be good to see this. I want to see them break ground. And most of all, I want to see some spring training. I know that Kamp is going to be out pretty soon, and there's going to be a lot of cuts and stuff. And actually, the pundits are starting to throw some stuff around up here. And one guy came up and said there's 4 cuts that Jacksonville needs to make before we even start. I don't understand that why, but some of these guys are pretty in depth when it comes to these players, and I guess they know a lot more about this than Papa J. But anyway, for the first guy, this gentleman wants cut is Dorsett, wide receiver. My only one is a 4.25. And what does Urban Meyer love about his players? Speed. And more speed. So what do? We cut him the first time. I don't understand that. But there's a whole bunch. They got Sharp, Chenault, Jones, Johnson. Now you got this other little kid that's coming that looks like Chenault. Meyer busted chops a little while ago. Yesterday, I think. He referenced DJ Shark. He says, listen, he says, I want you to get better, faster, stronger, and heavier. So, Austin Meyer, Urban is cast his first spear. This is the way that he does things. He gets in people's heads. He moves things around. He suggests this. He does this. He allows that. And we'll see how much bigger Shark is when the season starts. But anyway, I think we'd miss Dorsett, but maybe he won't get cut according to this pundit. Next guy is cornerback Sid Jones. I guess this pundit doesn't want him around either. Got Henderson, Griffin, and Campbell. I guess this gentleman doesn't feel like Sid would be an addition. Next guy he wants cut is offensive lineman A.J. Kane, and that's one of your favorite players. Now they could trade Kane because he's in a prime to square, really. They could cut him, what this guy wants them to do, save $5 million on the cap. If this guy Barch, Bartch, comes along to take the job, then see you, AJ. AJ, goodbye. And of course, the last person that we talked to on the cut by this pundit, who do you think the last person is he wants cut? Tebow.
Of course.
Tebow.
Yeah, of course.
Now, this guy is saying Tebow has no chance to make this team. He says he may be a good guy in the locker room. He do this. He looks in great shape. He's done this. He's done. Tim Tebow will not be on the roster when the season starts by this guy. I'm gonna keep this guy's address in my thing there, because if Tebow makes the team, I'm gonna bust his ass something fierce. So there's so much to talk about when it comes to, you got 93 guys, 95 guys or 90 players, and you got to cut down. There's pundits like this that drop this stuff everywhere, and
from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallBT. Facebook.
That's it for the time being. I know that the Jaguars have signed special teams coordinator Nick Sorensen. He used to play for years. I remember him playing. I think he was a defensive back for Denver, if I'm not mistaken, or Kansas City, one of those. Anyway, he was at Seattle for many years. So he's now coming over, and he's going to take over the special teams play for the Jaguars. So I'm excited about that. I'm sure he's a good guy. So what are you going to do? There's some news from the front office too. Kareem Kassoum, I guess he didn't last too long under the Urbanites, so they terminated him. I don't know. He was the vice president of football operations. Probably got 10 of those guys there, Yeah. So they'll be without him.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, that's all really that I can talk about. Other than, you can do this for hours and talk about all the BS that comes out. It's just not worth it right now. We need to wait. We need to energize and exactly what we're going to do going forward. And I know we're going to have a lot of energy. That I just said, but I think we're going to have a lot of good players too. One guy even said that they're 5 years from having a winning team. I'm thinking to myself, where the hell has he been following? He doesn't get any news, I guess, huh? Jeez. Okay, what do you got?
Well, and that's the thing. And Philip Dorsett, listen, like you said, he's got the speed, 4.33, in the 40-yard dash, and then a 4.25 at Miami's pro day. Philip Dorsett, we know that he can bring the speed to it. Now he's somebody who he's played with the Patriots, he's played with the Colts. He has never been the wow guy consistently, and they have a ton of wide receivers that they're looking to find space for on this team. So I can understand the notion that that he may not make this team. So, I mean, obviously he's fast, but there's the reality that, Urban Meyer really has to look at the fact that he has a ton of guys trying to make this roster at the wide receiver spot. And, those guys, obviously DJ Chark Jr., Marvin Jones Jr., Laviska. Here's the funny thing. The 1, 2, and 3, in some way, shape, or form of this season for Jacksonville at wide receiver are all juniors. Kind of a fun known fact. DJ Chark, Jalen Kamp.
I don't even know who this guy is, for crying out loud.
Well, that's the thing. It's another player who was never a 1, never a 2, maybe a 3, where they were, that they're hoping, they get him cheap, you bring him in, you're hoping maybe he can show you something. Who knows? But there's so many different players that are trying to make this team. Jalen Kamp, who they brought in from Georgia Tech,
I like that kid. There's a lot of talk about that kid up there, Daniel. He's going to be a mini Chanel. He's going to take over, and don't be surprised if he starts breaking the rotation to catch the passes.
Well, and that's the thing. Colin Johnson, too. He's another guy.
I think that one they put on the injured reserve, and maybe that's why they picked up this Cooper guy.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. When you look at some of these players, Colin Johnson, how he made his hay with the third string. I mean, he was good with Jake Luton and making some things happen later on. Well, Mike Lennon later on in the season, I should say. So, there's talent here. So if Dorsett doesn't make it, I'm not going to be surprised because he hasn't wowed me up to this point. I hope he finds a home, and I hope he has longevity in the NFL. I don't know if it's going to work out for him in this because the best he's going to be is a wide receiver 4, and I don't know if Jacksonville's going to keep that, especially bringing in Farrell Cooper doesn't make me feel good for Philip Dorsett. Sidney Jones, listen, C.J. Henderson, was drafted and brought in before Shaquille Griffin was brought in free agency. Tyson Campbell was just drafted out of Georgia. Sidney Jones not being on the team, I wouldn't be surprised, like you mentioned. A.J. Cann, this guy is the only guy on the offensive line who consistently has been healthy and consistently has been there. Brandon Linder, their center, has been there but hasn't been healthy as of late. A.J. Cann has been the most healthy offensive lineman they've had in the last, 5 years at least. So I can't see them letting him go. And Tim Tebow, it's funny. It's just it's laughable to me. Again, who is your overwhelming tight end at this position? Ben Ellefson? No. Tyler Davis? No. Luke Farrell, you drafted. We'll see how it works out. James O'Shaughnessy has the most experience with the team, and Chris Manhertz just came in free agency. So, putting Tim Tebow, it's not like he's taking away a roster spot from Travis Kelce or from Hunter Henry or Jared Cook. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a guy who would be taking a roster spot at a position where Jacksonville has no spoken player as their guy. It's the perfect place to put him in and let him be a part of this offense, let him be a part of this locker room. And so it's ridiculous to think that he doesn't deserve to make the team because, whatever reason people want. Listen, people throw shade at Tim Tebow all the time and say he's untalented. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. He is untalented. He's won multiple championships. He is untalented. He's won a playoff game. He is untalented. That playoff game was against reigning champion Pittsburgh Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger. He is untalented, but he knows how to move the ball and get it forward. So say whatever you want to say about whatever you want to say. The man has found success in baseball. Well, Dan, he never made it to the majors. Okay, and 99% of the people that bash Tim Tebow can't even pick up a bat without hyperventilating. So the reality of it all is he found success in baseball. He found success in football. He's found success as an author. He's found success as a motivational speaker. If you don't like Tim Tebow, you're kind of telling me that you're jealous. And if you're jealous and you a hater, well, then I'm fine with that. Because Tim don't care about that. Tim's got God on his side. He doesn't need, Bob from, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So whatever it may be, I'm happy to see that he's on this team. And of the 4 people that you mentioned, I can see Sidney Jones and Dorsett gone, but A.J. Cann and Tim Tebow, why would Urban Meyer get rid of his guy? He wouldn't bring him in just to give them 2 weeks of good publicity. I mean, could he do that? Yeah. I mean, why would he do the guy that he brought in Florida? Why would he do him dirty? Why would he take what what some fans have always wanted in Jacksonville and give them a taste of it and then throw it in the garbage and never let it happen? Bringing in Tim Tebow and signing Tim Tebow shows me that he is going to be on the roster. I just believe that he will be. Why would Urban Meyer do this for any other reason? He doesn't need the publicity. He's got Trevor Lawrence. And A.J. Cann, he's had longevity with the team, and they did Mercedes Lewis dirty, but that was a different staff at a different time. So my hope is that they'll do right by A.J. Cann, who is one of their only draft picks that is still on the team right now in their recent history. So I think he deserves to be there. I think he should be there, PJ, and I would think it would be a bad decision if they didn't let him stay.
I agree. This is kind of the silly season when it comes to football, like they do in racing, or even in golf. There's so much information to read and understand that sometimes things get dropped and stuffed away somewhere, and we don't think about it. But I think about Tim Tebow all the time. I think about him every day because he's a good guy. I mean, he's a hell of a football player. Now, 33 years old. By the time he makes a team, if he does, he'll be 34. Now, a 34-year-old tight end in this league, there's not too many of them. As a matter of fact, Tyler Eifert, who I guess they didn't resign, he must have failed miserably because he just turned 30 or 31. I mean, let's face it, the longevity for football players is not very long. I mean, I think if the average is 4 years, maybe 4 years is stretching it too. So, you got to make all the money you can in 2 or 3 or 4 years or go play baseball so you don't get hurt. I want to see a fair competition. I don't want Urban Meyer to say, well, he was my quarterback for 2 years. I run that. I know what he's about.
Yeah.
Urban, if the guy can't play tight end, he can't play. You can't leave him there. You can't put him on. What are you going to do? Leave him on the roster for $925,000? That's what his contract is. I mean, come on. You got to be smart. I wish him luck, and I know the pundits are just, especially the national pundits, are killing this guy.
Yeah.
But the regional pundits know about him, and they don't do that.
No, and Greg said absolutely, PJ, 34-year-old is ancient in the NFL. Tell that to Tom Brady, okay? That man is 82 years old right now, and he's still the quarterback. So, I just don't want to hear it. Everybody has an excuse for Tim Tebow negativity. Everybody has a reason. He's old. There's guys that are in the league that are older than him. He's washed up. He has not... Okay, he played baseball. He's 34 years old, but his body hasn't been hit on the football field in over 5 years. He has had 5 years of no barbaric sport. Take that into consideration. Guys that are 34 in the NFL that have been playing for 10 years or more, their bodies have been beaten up and bruised. Tebow's body hasn't been touched in 5 years by a football player's helmet, shoulder pads, muscle, nothing. Okay? If I took a little break from football and I played for 5 years and I came back, I'm 35 right now. My body's never been touched. If I went and I worked out and I did everything that I possibly could do and I had God-given talent to play football and my body has not been affected in all these years, that's a benefit. He's 34. He's 34, but he hasn't been touched. He's 34, but he hasn't been hit since he was 28 or 29. That means something. You know what? For people that find a problem to every solution, I will find a solution to every problem. Everything you throw at me about Tim Tebow, he wins. He's successful. He's motivational. He has God on his side. He believes in God. He puts his faith first. He works hard. He knows how to lead a team. Urban Meyer knows him. He knows Urban Meyer, and he has not had his body hit in 5 years. So continue to throw the shade, continue to throw the negativity, and I will continue to throw you logic. The man has not been hit in 5 years. That is a benefit to any NFL team because we're not talking about a 34-year-old that's played in the NFL every single year for 16 games. We're talking about a guy who hasn't played in the last few years, whose body has not been taken its toll on. This man does not have the miles on him that other tires have in the NFL, and that is just the reality. So to everybody out there that hates on Tim Tebow, you ain't going to make me hate him. That's just how it is. So I make my own decisions, and I met the man, and I talked to the man, and I'm okay with the man. And so is Trevor Lawrence. PJ, really quick before we jump into baseball, I wanna speak on something that that happened here, because you and I have never been really sold on this guy being a first-round pick for the Jaguars. I scratched my head when the Jaguars made this pick later on in the first round a few years back, and he never panned out. He's never truly been a starter, and they declined the fifth-year option on him back on April 28th of this year. Former Florida Gator defensive lineman Taven Bryan. Looks like his time in Jacksonville is dang near over. What are your thoughts on how you and I kind of scratched our head when they drafted him in the first round, and we've been scratching our head all the way through, and Jacksonville's kind of proven us right of the head scratcher as they've declined his fifth-year option?
Taven, I obviously followed him closely at Florida. He did well his first couple of years. He started playing really well in junior year, and it really stuck out as a senior. And apparently the Jaguars thought a lot of him to bring him in as a run stuffer. I told you this a couple of years ago. I didn't think he was a first-round draft choice, and obviously he's going to be released, I'm sure. But, you know, Taven Bryan will find a spot somewhere. Someone will stick him on a line of scrimmage there on a defense and try to stuff some runs. I wish him luck because he's a good guy.
Yeah, maybe he'll be dropped to open up that roster spot for Tim Tebow.
Right.
A Gator for a Gator. So we'll take a flip over here to baseball in just a second. I had another quick note. Speaking of quarterbacks, allegedly Alex Smith was very close to signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the man who was the comeback player of the year by far, coming in going through a very gruesome injury with, when he was a part of Washington. And this is the funny thing. When Alex Smith got injured, they were the Redskins. When he came back, they were the football team. Kind of funny. So he obviously is connected to Urban Meyer, and he said, quote, "I was incredibly close. That was the place, just honestly speaking, that I was really intrigued by and really interested by," speaking to Jacksonville. He said, quote, "It would have been crazy to play for Coach Meyer again, sandwiched between 16 years. I'm still obviously so pumped for him and excited for this opportunity and curious just like everyone else to see how it goes. He's such a unique person and unique coach. I think he brings so much to the table, and I'm anxious to see if it translates to the NFL, which I think it will," end quote. So what are your thoughts that the comeback player of the year, Alex Smith, was almost a Jaguar?
I couldn't see that happening. I mean, you have to be realistic, and so does Alex. And Alex was realistic because he does not go play anymore. I mean, what he did borders on miracles. I mean, we saw the man laying on the ground with bones sticking out of his legs. And somehow, by the grace of God, I'm sure, because he's a Christian guy, somehow this man made it through the rehab, got on the field, still excelled, and I think he retired with his head up. And there's no reason that Meyer needs him on this team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That they got the first overall pick. That whoever you come in, you're not going to play. I mean, if I'm Alex Smith and I fought so hard to get back, I want to play. Going to Jacksonville, worst possible option because Trevor Lawrence is there. Gardner Minshew is still on the roster. And Tim Tebow's there if they want to utilize some trick play options. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for any quarterback, really any sense for any quarterback, to go to Jacksonville because their future lies in the hands of Trevor Lawrence. And that is a reality that anybody can see however many miles away they are through the looking glass. PJ, speaking of through the looking glass, I love your analysis of Major League Baseball. I was so amazed by it, and when I went to visit my girlfriend Teresa and her family, I took the time to really tell them about you. And I think they know more about you and Evan than maybe anybody, and Miss Mary T. And so the beauty of that, is, I said, I was like, I asked Papa Joe to come on the show. He comes on every Thursday, and I was like, oh, he was like, let's talk baseball. And I said, I didn't even tell him to do this. I didn't suggest that he did it. And he comes on the show and he gives me the power rankings for the top half of the league by himself, doing the research. I was like, it was so cool to just sit back and listen as a fan as he did something like that. And then I looked at them and I said, and oh, by the way, before I could ask him where, because they know I'm a Diamondbacks fan, I said, before I could ask him where my Diamondbacks were, he decided to let me know very clearly that they were 30 out of 30. So, but with Miss Janice and Teresa and Veronica being fans of the Mets and Grandma Joyce being fans of the Mets, I told, it was funny because her mom's Janice, she poked her head out and she's like, hi, Dan. And I thought she was happy to see me. She was gloating that the Mets were playing the Diamondbacks. And I said to her, I go, listen, I told you that this was like the 3 easiest wins of your season. You already played us once and swept us. This is easy for you. Well, the Diamondbacks got to steal one from the Mets. So I'm proud that the Diamondbacks won a game. They won it 6-5, but they lost the series 2-1. So they've lost 5-1 to the Mets this year. So, PJ, I'm going to open it up to you and ask you your thoughts about baseball because you always never cease to amaze me, the depth that you go with baseball as you are basically living in the Matrix with Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne watching all of these games at the same time thanks to the MLB ticket.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I've said this how many times. I'm thankful to MT to giving me the Major League Baseball package. And who do I watch last night? I watched my Brewers, of course. Now I can get them. I also watched Christian Yelich hit a home run. I didn't see that for 2 years, for crying out loud. Now I'm happy. The only problem is I miss my man Trout, but he'll come back, and he'll probably take the league by storm. He won't be an MVP this year because he won't have played enough games, but he'll make his presence felt when he comes back.
And we look at this, and I mean, Arizona Diamondbacks, adding injury to insults, I guess I would say. I'd flip it the other way. Arizona's ace, Madison Bumgarner, is on the 10-day injured list. He was put there yesterday with inflammation in his throwing shoulder. He underwent an MRI yesterday after playing only 2 innings in the 7-6 loss to the Mets, which is his shortest outing since August 9th of 2020. And so he said Wednesday that he first started feeling discomfort 2 to 3 weeks ago, but didn't tell the Diamondbacks because he thought he would feel better. He said, quote, "This is just bad judgment on my part. I thought it was going to get better and go away sooner. The last 3 to 4 days, it's gotten worse and affected my pitching," end quote. He's 4-5 this season. He has a 5.73 ERA in 14 appearances with 12 starts. So, AAA Reno has recalled Humberto Castellanos to be there with the team in this move. So, Humberto is back on the team to help in the rotation, with Bumgarner going out with a 5.73 ERA and a 4-5 record. PJ, thoughts?
Well, Madison Bumgarner is one of my favorite players when he was with the Giants. And the way they ran through the league 10 years ago, they won three World Series in, I think, 6 or 7 years. And he was right there with him and won a lot of games. He's not the same pitcher, obviously, and I don't understand why Arizona picked him up. But I mean, he's perfect. He's an excellent pitcher. He's got good motion. He's got 4 or 5 different pitches, but he hasn't been throwing strikes. And when guys can sit on that sidearm fastball, they're going to knock it out of the park. But I do have good news for you, Daniel.
Yes.
Good news from Papa J on the baseball front. I do not have you last. I have you number 28 because the Pirates and the Orioles are worse than your team.
Gee, thank you. So where are your standings then? Give me your.
Okay, well.
Okay, go ahead.
The first team. This doesn't surprise anyone if you're a baseball fan. It's the same team, the same San Diego Padres. They had 16 wins out of 19 games. Of course, now they've lost 4 in a row, but that doesn't make any difference. When you got Fernando Tatis, you can just like Mike Trout, he will will a team to win. This kid is only 21 years old. and there's so much written about him and said about him. And he's the real deal. If you like baseball, watch this kid play. I got following him. I got Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, and again, you've heard me say this for years, they never cease to amaze me. They continually bring in mediocre players, put them together in a team concept with a little bit of pitching, and they win. Their record is 35-22. They weren't even projected to be a 500 team this year. And here they are leading the league. I love it. After them, I got the Dodgers, who I had to move down a little bit. Cody Bellinger is now back. He had second game back, he had 6 RBIs. So you know how important he is. Corey Seager, Bellinger, and Mookie Betts are their best players. They have to ride them, and of course with the pitching of Clayton Kershaw and his buddies. I look for maybe Los Angeles make a little bit of noise this week, but maybe not. They'll keep them at 3. Number 4, I got the White Sox. I did not see this team coming at all. I didn't see this team coming at all when they hired Tony La Russa, one of my favorite managers. He's about 100 years old. He's out there managing.
Yeah.
And the talk was that he wasn't going to get along with the new style of player. You know, they wear the do-rags and they flip their bats and they got gold around their necks. Who the hell did that 30 years ago, 40 years ago? Anyway, he's got a hell of a team. Defense and offense, they're good. I watch him a little bit now because I need to get used to seeing them if they're going to be part of the playoff process. But they're a good team, and they're made better because of Tony La Russa. We got the Giants, one of my favorite teams forever. Got Buster Posey, Evan Longoria, and all these guys. Brandon Caldwell Kamp. Excuse me. Brandon Caldwell is really a really good player. He may even be the favorite for the MVP in the National League this year. He's that good of a player. Brandon Crawford. After that, got the Red Sox. Got a good league, good team this year, good record this year. Stopped them down once this time. They got J.D. Martinez, Alexander Bogaerts, and Rafael Devers. Those guys can hit 20 home runs a game. They're this good. And the Red Sox need them because their pitching sucks. After that, I got the Astros, the team that everyone loves to hate after their cheating exposition. I'm not going to comment on the Astros because I'm still pissed off about them, but they still got a good team. I'm waiting for, Daniel, think of his name. No, I'll think of it and I'll let you know. After that, I got the Cubs. The Cubs have really played well lately. They won 19 games in May, and they swept the Padres. That's why the Padres lost 4 in a row. They've got an excellent team, always have been. They got good hitters with Chris Bryant, Ken Bryant, and Anthony Russo. They can hit for homers, they can hit for average, and they got good pitching. Number 9, a good surprise this year was the Oakland Athletics. They're coming off a really good streak. They're a good team. They have decent hitting, with good pitching. And if you know the way I talk about baseball, you win when you have pitching and defense. So they'll carry you through. I got the Mets up next. Jacob DeGrom is another person who, if you've ever watched baseball, you got to watch this kid pitch. If you remember years ago, there was a pitcher, but in the Mets called Doc Gooden. He was like DeGrom. I mean, he was almost unhittable. Of course, then he got screwed up with drugs and stuff. But DeGrom's ERA is not at record levels. It's below record levels. He's so low. He hasn't given up an earned run, I don't think, in 20 months probably. He's the best player. He's the best pitcher. That's why he's been a Cy Young Award winner for 2 years. As he goes, so goes the Mets. After the Mets, I got the Yankees. They're crosstown rivals. Corey Kluber has been an excellent pitcher. Luke Voigt got hurt. Didn't want to see that. Their best player is DJ LeMahieu, who will carry them if the big guys like Stanton and Judge don't get their bats going. After that, I got the Toronto Blue Jays. I didn't think they would be worth a darn this year. Instead, they're starting to play a lot better. They have Steven Matz, Robbie Ray, Russ Strickland. These are all veteran pitchers. Matz came from the Mets, and I think that they're going to still cause a lot of problems. After that, I got the Cardinals, one of my favorite teams. They're in a little bit of a slump. They have to win by pitching too, but they got Paul Goldschmidt, who he needs to come out of a slump in order to carry him, because he's the home run guy and he's the RBI guy. After them, I got the Cleveland Indians, who didn't in particular be here anyway because they traded away a couple pitchers. They're okay. They're not dominant. They're going to be hanging around probably the middle of the pack most of the time. So I'm not going to get into them too much unless they start making a run and some guys start taking over. 15th, my main boys, the Milwaukee Brewers. I watched them last night. Unbelievable. Josh Hader is unhittable. Baseball fans know who I'm talking about. He's the reliever for the Brewers. Last night he came in, saved the game, 3 outs, 3 strikeouts. His ERA is about .50, .60 or something. You can't hit the guy. And if you're playing the Brewers, you better get to their pitchers early, because if they have to go to the bullpen late, you got Mr. Hader waiting for you. And the rest of the teams, Atlanta should be playing a lot better than they are. They're not. The Marlins are, again, exceeding expectations this year, but Don Mattingly doing a hell of a job down there. The Royals love the Royals, but they're a 500 ball club, and I don't think they're going to be much better than that. After that, you got the Phillies, who should be playing a lot better with the hitting they got, but we'll see what happens. You got the Mariners next. Mariners is a middle-of-the-road team, middle of the road. The Twins, same thing. You don't get excited about teams like this.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, you got Jesse Winkler who's hitting about 350, and I don't even know who this guy is, but he's leading the National League in hitting. You got Washington Nationals. You got Steven Strasburg as a pitcher. He had to win an MRI. He had a problem. I think they're going to keep him out a couple. And you got Max Scherzer, who can throw a no-hitter at any time. Both of these guys, the Nationals should be better than they are with Strasburg and, what did I just say? Boy, you see what I mean? Strasburg and, okay. Well, I forgot. I got my Angels. My Angels are sorry. They're sinking in my rankings.
Yeah.
Anthony Rendon is not doing what I thought he would do when he's coming over. Trout, of course, is hurt. Trout is going to come back again with on a losing. When he comes back from the rehab, he's going to come back with a team with a losing record and no chance for the playoff. And that's been his motto for 10 years. They can't get out of the way. Texas Rangers not going anywhere. Detroit Tigers is sorry. The Rockies, you got the Diamondbacks. You got Pittsburgh, who's just as terrible, and Baltimore's awful, too. So, you got the good guys taking over, Daniel. The later we play into the season, the more the good teams and the good players excel. So you'll see, maybe we'll see some changes later on, but don't look for a lot of changes up front.
Yeah, and it's really, I mean, and I appreciate, as always, you giving your expertise and, giving us your thoughts on everything. And you talk about Pat Corbin and whatnot, and, obviously a guy from CNS, and shout out to my buddy Bryce Cicero, who's here at CNS now as a pitcher, doing his thing and hoping the best for him in the upcoming future. So a lot of great stuff. And as always, I appreciate the expertise of Papa Joe's Power Rankings, PJ's PRs, Papa Joe's Power Rankings, and getting to see what we have here. And, I got to ask you, though, the Yankees and the Mets coming up, there's going to be a Subway Series, 4th of July weekend, and a beautiful thing, really awesome. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's going to be all all Yankees, Mets in Yankee Stadium. Perfect thing for baseball. Subway Series, both teams in New York, fans back in the stands, and fireworks maybe. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Subway Series in less than a month? Well, actually, yeah, the Subway Series, which is about a month from today.
That'll be a lot of fun to watch, and of course we'll have the full complement of fans in the stands. This series is a pick'em. Both teams are. The Yankees are playing a little bit better. They have better hitting than the Mets. The Mets have better pitching. The Yankees have good pitching, but not as good as them. So it's a toss-up. It's a flip. If you If you got an over and under for one, take it.
Yeah, and I think it's great. I think it's great for baseball. I think it's great for, just all of us as a whole to be able to see this series, this Subway Series happen. To me, it's like a return to baseball. Even though I know we're back, to me it's still like, it's like making it even more real. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited for what can come of this, and I'm looking forward to everything that we have coming up. And with that being said, PJ, any final notes about baseball before we finish up for today?
Well, we got for race fans, we got the Belmont Stakes this weekend at Belmont Park. Beautiful Belmont Park, I might add. Probably one of the most beautiful racetracks in the country, in the world, actually, as along with Saratoga. The Belmont Stakes is going to have several really good runners. There's a couple favorites. Essential Quality will probably be the one. He was favored for the Kentucky Derby, but didn't come through. There is good race. I can't say good news because I don't want to see anyone go bad, but
yeah,
there is news from the racing world, and that's Bob Baffert, who is the championship trainer out west, wound up being thrown out of Churchill Downs for 2 years.
Yeah.
And he's also been tossed out of New York for 6 months. Now, what is it telling you? You got a new guy coming in. He's a new man that's taking over the task force, and he's going to be coming down on these drug guys. Baffert has had 5 positive tests in a year. Why is he still racing in California? Because they love Bob Baffert. And New York won't let him race. Kentucky won't let him race. But he can go to Monmouth this weekend and race for a couple $100,000 over there. So I'm not a Bob Baffert fan, if you know me. I don't like his training methods. I don't like what he does with 2-year-olds. So, but that's just my opinion. But I think most of the states have dropped the ball. Listen, I was in this business for a long time. Okay, when you outlaw someone at your track, reciprocity should occur no matter where you are in the country. If I threw a guy out at Monticello, I don't want him to go over to Chicago and try to race over there. If I threw him out, then the people over there should look and say, well, damn, this guy threw him out. What the hell do we want him over here for?
Yeah.
No, don't need it. Reciprocity should occur. That's it with Bob Baffert. Don't want to talk about him anymore.
Yeah, coming from PJ, talking about Baffert and Jameis. What about Jameis? You're mad at Baffert. What about famous Jameis?
Jameis, I tell you. My man Jameis, I heard through the grapevine that he's going to become a Bayou cook.
Yes. Well, if he becomes a Bayou cook, we know that if he becomes a Bayou cook, PJ, we know that Publix will give him free crab legs.
That's right. That's right.
So that coming from Papa Joe here this morning. The segment felt like it was 5 seconds long. That's because you make it fun and, you make it what it is. I love you, PJ, and my love to you and to Joey, to Kayla, to Lily, and obviously to Miss Mary T, who brings it all home. The queen of all things down in the Queen of St. Augustine. It rhymes. So
you can say something on T.
Yeah. You're welcome, MC. The Queen of St. Do you like the Queen of St. Augustine? It rhymes.
Yes, she is too. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I forgot that name. I forgot that. That this is what happens with the medication. My mind wanders a little bit. Not because I wanted to, because it's being pushed in another direction. So, but I'll try to do better.
Now, PJ, you've done amazing. You always have, and you have definitely. What's exciting to me is that I get to talk about you and in our segment and our relationship to so many people. I've been able to bring. My goal was to bring our table discussions to the tables of households all around the world, and we've succeeded in doing that. And I want to thank you for that. That there are people out there that know who you are, know what you're about, and you are a topic of conversation. So my goal of not being selfish and keeping you all to myself has put us in a place where people all over the country and outside of the country know who you are, and that means the world to me more than anything else.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. That makes a lot to me, too. Take care, bud.
You too. Talk with you soon. Coming from PJ, and very excited always to have him on the show and having some fun with us as we always do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that awesome thing called life. So with all of that being said, we'll take our final step aside to round out this week of Wake Up Call right here where sports meets life. Thank you for being here with us, folks. Avicoli's located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road. And once again, Avicoli's located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been with us for decades, serving our community, and they are now proud to be serving lunch again. Who would have thought that we would have the past year and a half that we did? But Avicoli's navigated through it, and they did it thanks to you. You called, you reserved, you got there for takeout, delivery, catering, curbside pickup. You did it. You helped to keep Avicoli's here in our community that much longer, and I thank you for that, and they thank you for that. And they ask that you come in and continue to support them, love them, and appreciate them. And whether it's over, an antipasto or over, some chicken riggies or sitting there with a slice, whatever it may be, Avicoli's, veal parmesan for me, Avicoli's welcomes you home to the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. You can go to myavicolis.com. And you can also call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. 315-622-5100. Canine Kampground as well as Canine Camp Dog Daycare. There for you in East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street, right by BJ's. The campground is there for extended care for your furry loving friends, and the dog daycare is there for short-term care, obviously for the day. You can get to each of them by going right off of Bridge Street to Canine Campground on 242 Johnson Street and the daycare on 228 Old Bridge Street, taking care of our furry loving friends every single week, including on holidays. They are an extension of your family, and nobody does it better. Thank you to Lorraine, Chad, Heather, and the entire team at Canine Campground and Canine Camp Dog Daycare for treating Lily and your loved ones so well. PB&J's Lunchbox, happy to be with them, are one of our newest partners here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they are just so uniquely, incredibly fun. Their food truck has gone all over our community of Central and Upstate New York for years, and now they have a brick-and-mortar new location at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool. That means you go out and see them at all these events that are going on, and you can go to them all throughout the week at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool. The brick and mortar is there for you. You don't have to chase down the truck. You can go see the truck throughout the year, and you can always find your way to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly and so much more at PB&J's Lunchbox. No one has the mind of Pat Orr, and that is such a blessing to Central and Upstate New York. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, there for you in Skinny Atlas. They helped me recover from my injury and continue to take care of my body. They are not just good. They're not just good at what they do. They care about you. They make a point to listen to you and really take in what matters to you and what the patient is thinking. They want to hear from you. These aren't doctors that talk at you. They're people that speak with you. And led by Dr. Mark Petropoli, there's something so unique and beautiful about a place that cares every single time, every single visit to the nth degree. 791 West Genesee Street in Skinny Atlas is where they're located, and you can call for an appointment today, 315-685-7544. They have your link to preventative care, they have your link to physical therapy, to surgery, and so much more. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is your one-stop shop to help your body today, to help move forward today, to take one step in the right direction from here on out every single day. Whatever it may be and whatever is going on, Dr. Mark Petropoli and his entire team of professionals at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics has my stamp of approval as they've taken care of me throughout these past many years, and I thank them so much. Call 315-685-7544 today to make your appointment. with that being stated here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, I want to thank you all for being a part of the show, for listening and watching today inside the Cafe Kubal studios on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, as well as on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT and WakeUpCallDT.com every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, searching the archive after we go live, going to your favorite podcasting place, as well as YouTube, by going to MixLR, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Podbean, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, which you can do on YouTube as well as on MixLR. You could search us there that way. And, of course, a big thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners that help to make our community so amazing. Use the hashtag SupportCNY when you support these companies, and make sure you tag Wake Up Call in it on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. With a shout-out to Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Honda City of Liverpool, Millhouse Market, and Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Use the promo code at maandpazpopcorn.com in any one of the 50 states, and they will deliver to you, or you can put for in-store pickup and pick it up yourself on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool by using the promo code DT20. As long as you order online for in-store pickup or delivery to any one of the 50 states, you can get my 20% off by going to maandpazpopcorn.com and using the promo code DT20. For now, from the Cafe Kubal Studios, this is Wake Up Call, and coming up next week, we have Mike Oresco, Dave Paziak, Joe Adam, the fantasy football NFC side of things for all the quarterback situations. Papa Joe's back, the annoying moment of the week, lead, top dog of the week, ingredients to success, and more. Next week is already ready for you, and I cannot wait to bring it to you. But in the meantime, I will enjoy my weekend, as I pray and hope that you do as well. God bless, no stress, do your best. This is Wake Up Call, and we'll talk with you soon.